She was called the breath of Artemis and the mother of all herbs, a silver phantom of the roadsides, unafraid of scorching sun or harsh winds. Bitter wormwood. Why did our ancestors fumigate their homes with its smoke during epidemics? And why did Roman soldiers entrust their lives to it on long marches? This is no mere weed. It is reality's ancient sanitizer, whose bitter essence cuts away all that is superfluous and toxic. We will peer under the microscope to behold the architecture of its survival and understand why truth always carries the taste of wormwood. Enter the zone of absolute purity. The archive is open. Part 1. The breath of Artemis and the bitter crown of history. In the world of botany, there exist symbolic plants, tool plants, and enigma plants. But bitter wormwood, Artemisia absinthium, stands apart. This is a boundary plant. If celandine was a living scalpel, then wormwood is reality's sanitarian. Its recognizable silvery appearance and piercing, unparalleled aroma are the calling cards of a being that has learned to survive where others perish and to protect what others cannot hold. The history of humanity's interaction with wormwood begins with its name. The ancient Greeks named it in honor of Artemis, the goddess of the hunt, patroness of the wild, and the feminine principle. Artemis was known for her austerity, incorruptibility, and her ability to bring both healing and sudden death. Wormwood entirely inherited this character. In the ancient world, it was believed that the goddess herself bestowed this plant upon mortals so that they might cleanse their thoughts and bodies of defilement. In the works of Hippocrates and Dioscorides, wormwood is mentioned not merely as an herb, but as a strategic resource for maintaining vitality and purifying the organism. One of the most striking historical facts is the use of wormwood by Roman legionaries. These soldiers, undertaking marches spanning many kilometers across sun-scorched lands, would place sprigs of wormwood in their sandals. This was not superstition. Modern chemistry confirms that the essential oils and tannins in wormwood possess potent antifungal effects and promote localized vasoconstriction, which reduced swelling and prevented leg fatigue after marches. Wormwood was the unspoken companion of great conquests, bestowing endurance upon soldiers where flesh failed. In the East and in Slavic culture, wormwood was called the mother of all herbs. For our ancestors, it was the primary charm, a protective plant guarding the boundaries between worlds. In Slavic mythology, wormwood was considered the sole power capable of resisting the __0__ spirits of fever. If someone fell ill in a home, the floor would be strewn with freshly cut wormwood, and bundles of dried herb would be hung above the doors. This was an intuitive act of disinfection. The phytoncides released by the plant sterilized the air, killing pathogenic bacteria in cramped huts. But why did bitterness become its defining quality? Ancient legends tell that wormwood grew in the footsteps of exiles departing Eden, absorbing all the bitterness of humanity's parting from an ideal world. In Christian tradition, it was called the herb of repentance. The Old Testament uses the image of wormwood as a metaphor for severe judgment and retribution. But herein also lies its great mission. Through bitterness comes sobriety. In ethnographic archives, for instance, in the works of Alexander Afanasiev, wormwood is described as the herb of oblivion. It was believed that its aroma could sever attachments to the past and cleanse the mind of obsessive thoughts. This plant is a great ascetic. It does not demand fertile soils. It is content with little, transforming sunlight and dry earth into the planet's most concentrated bitter extract. Wormwood does not play games with humans. It offers no sweet fruits or vibrant flowers. Its beauty lies in its silvery austerity, and its value in its absolute honesty. We open this archive to understand how the breath of an ancient goddess transformed into a molecular shield that for millennia helped humanity preserve clarity of vision and purity of space. We begin our journey along Artemisia's silver track, where every step is imbued with an unforgettable aroma. Part 2. The Architecture of Bitterness. How does the silver armor work? If you have ever seen wormwood in a field, you would have noticed how it stands out against the lush green of other herbs. Wormwood appears nobly gray, as if dusted with frost even on the hottest July afternoon. This is not merely a matter of beauty. It is a complex engineering defense, a true spacesuit the plant has created for survival in extreme conditions. The entire leaf of wormwood is covered with millions of microscopic hairs called trichomes. Viewed under a microscope, they resemble tiny satellite dishes or the dense pile of an expensive carpet. This silver armor has two crucial functions. Firstly, the hairs reflect the scorching sun's rays, preventing the plant from literally burning alive in the steppe. Secondly, they retain a thin layer of moist air near the leaf's surface, creating its own microclimate. But the most interesting part for us is hidden at the base of these hairs. It is there that tiny glands are located, which produce that legendary aroma and extreme bitterness. Why is wormwood so bitter? In biology, nothing happens without reason. Imagine wormwood as an intelligent chemical factory. The main substances in its composition are absinthin and anabsentin. For humans, this is simply a bitter taste. But for the world of insects and microbes, it is a stop signal. Danger. This is natural chemical weaponry. No herbivorous animal, no caterpillar, wants to eat a leaf that literally burns its receptors with bitterness. In this way, wormwood protects its resources to channel them into creating seeds and essential oils. But wormwood's bitterness not only works for deterrence, it possesses an astonishing property: the stimulation of life. When microdoses of these bitter substances enter the body, they act like an alarm button for our digestive system. The body instantly awakens. The liver begins to purify the blood more actively. The gallbladder works at full capacity, and the stomach produces the necessary enzymes. Wormwood does not feed us. It compels our bodies to engage and operate at full capacity. It is a kind of biological tuning. Another important secret of wormwood is its phytoncides. These are volatile substances that the plant constantly releases into the air. While celandine works as a contact tool, requiring contact with its sap, wormwood is a contactless weapon. An invisible dome, a sterile zone, is created around the wormwood bush. The phytoncides of wormwood are so potent that they can suppress the growth of bacteria and fungi within a radius of several meters. This is precisely why a bundle of dried wormwood in the home is not just decoration, but a natural air purifier that genuinely reduces the concentration of microbes in a room. Modern research, available in databases like PubMed, confirms that wormwood essential oil has a unique penetrative ability. Its molecules are so small and active that they easily pass through the protective barriers of microorganisms, destroying them from within. But it is precisely this activity that demands our respect. The power of wormwood lies in its concentration. What is a golden key to health and purity in small doses can become a severe trial for the nervous system in large quantities. Wormwood teaches us an important principle. Protection must be comprehensive. Externally, a light-reflecting armor. Internally, a powerful chemical filter. This plant shows us how one can be simultaneously open to the sun and absolutely invulnerable to parasites. We close this technical section of our archive to move on to the most interesting part. How people have used these superpowers of wormwood in their daily lives and rituals for centuries. Part 3. The sanitarian of space and protective smoke. If Part 2 was about the plant's blueprints, then Part 3 is about how to use this device in practice. Our ancestors did not know the words antiseptic or fumigation, but they possessed phenomenal observational skills. They saw that where wormwood grew, rot did not linger, and insects avoided these silvery bushes. Thus, wormwood became humanity's first universal hygiene remedy, both physical and energetic. Let's begin with domestic magic, which was, in reality, pure physics. Imagine an ancient nomadic camp or a steppe settlement. Finding a source of clean water was a matter of life and death. Experienced trackers always looked for wormwood. The fact is, wormwood is a soil indicator. It favors a specific soil composition and purity of the horizons. Where Artemisia grew lushly, the water in wells or springs was the safest and most suitable for a settlement. Wormwood literally pointed the way to life, but its most powerful tool became smoke. Fumigation with wormwood is not merely a ritual. It is the most ancient method of sterilizing space. When a bundle of dry herb begins to smolder slowly, those very essential oils and resins we discussed earlier are released into the air, but in a concentrated form. In the Middle Ages, during outbreaks of severe epidemics, the smoke of wormwood was used to treat not only living rooms, but also clothing and even letters. It was the only method available then to roast the air, killing viruses and repelling disease carriers like fleas and lice. Wormwood acted as a gas shield, creating a barrier between humans and the invisible enemy. In Slavic domestic life, wormwood was the mistress of the house. It was added to bath brooms so that through steam and open pores, the skin absorbed the purifying components. Wormwood pillows were used for those suffering from insomnia or heavy thoughts. Its astringent scent helped to ground oneself, cutting off daytime anxiety. It was believed that wormwood swept away not only dust from the corners, but also stagnant, heavy energy of quarrels and resentment. Wormwood's agrarian secret is also interesting. Gardeners of the past knew that if wormwood was planted around the perimeter of a garden, it would act as a guardian. Its phytoncides are so powerful that they can disorient pests that search for cultivated plants by scent. Wormwood creates informational noise around itself, in which insect pests simply lose their bearings. This was organic protection long before the advent of chemistry. This is the nobility of wormwood. It takes on the dirtiest and most complex work. It stands guard at the borders, filters the air we breathe and the water we drink. It does not fear bitterness because it knows that only through it can true purity be achieved. We close this chapter on domestic use to finally understand the plant's main wisdom. Why is wormwood not just an herb, but an examination of our honesty with ourselves? Part 4. The boundaries of truth between poison and elixir. In concluding our exploration of wormwood, we inevitably arrive at the main conclusion. This plant is not about comfort. It is about truth. Wormwood is the living embodiment of the principle, all is poison and all is medicine. Its biological power is so immense that it demands from us not just knowledge, but deep awareness. In modern medicine, wormwood continues to be an object of intense focus. According to data from global biochemical databases such as NCBIGEO, wormwood components possess a unique ability to destroy the protective membranes of pathogenic microorganisms. But the same power that kills a virus or bacterium, if handled carelessly, can become toxic to the human nervous system. This is Artemisia's bitter lesson. Access to great power is only possible through discipline and moderation. Wormwood teaches us three fundamental rules of interaction with the world. The right to boundaries. Just as the plant protects itself with silver armor, so too must a person know how to build their boundaries, cutting away the superfluous and the toxic. The value of bitterness. We are accustomed to seeking only the sweet and pleasant, but it is wormwood's bitterness that initiates deep processes of purification and renewal. Without it, the system stagnates. Honesty with nature. Wormwood does not hide its essence behind vibrant colors. It is as it is, austere, honest, and effective. Old herbalists said, "Wormwood does not heal one who does not believe in it." Today, we understand this differently. Wormwood will not help those who are not ready for change. It is like a strict teacher who first makes you learn a difficult lesson, only to then grant freedom and purity. We close the bitter wormwood folder. We have seen in it the breath of an ancient goddess, the defense technology of ancient legionaries, and the most complex biochemical code of survival. Wormwood remains on the sides of our roads as an eternal sentinel, reminding us that true purity begins with the readiness to face the bitter truth. Nature has given us an instrument of incredible power. Our task is to use it wisely. The archive on the subject of wormwood is closed. M.